The Warrior Queens. A tale of love, betrayal, and redemption. In the grand kingdom of Oyewo, a land of rolling hills, dense jungles, and sacred rivers, warrior queens were not just rulers, they were legends. Princess Layla, the kingdom's heir, was no ordinary princess. She was a force of nature, with eyes that gleamed like polished obsidian, and a spirit as untamed as the wildest storms. Her people adored her, not just for her beauty, but for her unmatched skill with a blade, and her unyielding sense of justice. But the time had come for Layla to choose a husband, a decision that would shape the future of Oyewo. Layla, however, refused to settle for a man who could not match her strength and courage. She declared that only the strongest, most fearless, and noble warrior could win her hand. To prove their worth, suitors would have to complete four impossible trials, each more perilous than the last. The kingdom buzzed with anticipation as warriors from distant lands arrived, their eyes filled with ambition, and their hearts pounding with the hope of winning the princess's heart. The first trial was to slay the Black Mamba King, a serpent of nightmares. The beast was said to be as long as a river and as thick as an ancient oak, its scales glistening like molten obsidian. It guarded the sacred river of Oyewo, a place where the waters were said to hold the power of life and death. Many warriors had tried to defeat the serpent, but none had returned. Their bones littered the riverbank, a grim reminder of the Mamba's wrath. Jubreel, a warrior whose name was whispered with reverence across the land, stepped forward to face the beast. Armed with a spear and a heart full of determination, he ventured into the serpent's lair. The battle was fierce and brutal. The Mamba struck with lightning speed, its fangs dripping with venom, but Jubreel dodged and countered with precision. Finally, with a mighty thrust, he pierced the serpent's heart. He emerged from the river, bloodied but victorious, holding the serpent's head high. The kingdom erupted in cheers, but the trials were far from over. The second trial was to steal the flaming jewel, a gem of unimaginable power. The jewel was kept in a temple hidden deep within the jungle, guarded by ancient traps and enchanted flames that burned anyone unworthy of touching it. Many warriors had tried to claim the gem, only to be reduced to ash. Jubreel, undeterred, entered the temple. The air was thick with heat, and the walls were lined with carvings of forgotten gods. He navigated the traps with the skill of a master thief, his every move calculated and precise. When he reached the jewel, the flames roared to life, surrounding him in a fiery inferno. But Jubreel stood firm, his hands steady as he grasped the gem. The flames did not burn him. The jewel recognized his worth and allowed him to take it. The people of Oyewo marveled at his bravery, but the trials were not yet complete. The third trial was to defeat the phantom leopard, a creature of myth and legend. The leopard was said to be faster than the wind, its coat shimmering like moonlight on water. It could vanish into thin air, leaving no trace of its presence. Jubreel tracked the beast through dense forests and treacherous terrain, his senses sharp and his resolve unshakable. For days, he followed the leopard's trail, surviving on little food and even less sleep. Finally, he confronted the beast in a clearing bathed in silver light. The leopard attacked with blinding speed, but Jubreel was ready. The battle was a blur of claws and steel, each strike more deadly than the last. In the end, Jubreel emerged victorious, the leopard's pelt draped over his shoulders. The kingdom hailed him as a hero, but the final trial remained, a test of the heart. The fourth trial was not a test of strength or skill but of character. Layla wanted to see if Jubreel was truly noble and loyal. She set him a task that required him to make a difficult choice, one that would reveal his true nature. Jubreel passed the test with flying colors, proving that he was not only a great warrior but also a man of honor. Layla was impressed, and the kingdom rejoiced as she announced that Jubreel would be her husband. Preparations for the wedding began, and the kingdom was filled with joy and celebration. But fate had other plans. On the eve of the wedding, Layla discovered a devastating secret. Jubreel had fallen in love with her most trusted handmaiden, Aisha. The betrayal cut deep, and Layla's heart shattered. She had trusted Jubreel, and now he had broken that trust. But Layla was not one to wallow in despair. Instead, she devised a plan to teach Jubreel a lesson he would never forget. On their wedding night, she offered him a drink laced with a powerful sleeping potion. As he fell unconscious, she had him chained and locked in the deepest dungeon of the kingdom. She stood over him, her voice cold and steady, and said, "You conquered the beasts, Jubreel, but you could not conquer your own desires. Now you will learn that no warrior can escape the wrath of a betrayed queen." The next morning, Layla ascended the throne as the Queen of Oyewo. She ruled with strength and wisdom, but her heart was heavy with the weight of betrayal. Jubreel remained in the dungeon, and Aisha fled the kingdom, fearing Layla's wrath. For a time, Layla focused on ruling her kingdom and protecting her people. But soon, a new threat emerged. An old enemy returned, threatening to destroy Oyewo. Layla knew she needed a strong warrior to defend the kingdom, and there was no one stronger than Jubreel. Layla stood outside Jubreel's cell, her heart torn between anger and duty. She knew Jubreel had made a grave mistake, but she also knew he was the only one who could save the kingdom. After much deliberation, she made her decision. She freed Jubreel but kept him under close watch. "Fight for me for the kingdom you once swore to protect," she commanded. Jubreel, humbled and remorseful, nodded. "I will earn my honor back," he vowed. Jubreel fought bravely to defend Oyewo. He led the kingdom's armies and defeated the enemy, proving his loyalty once again. Over time, Layla began to see the man she had once admired. She saw his strength, his courage, and his willingness to make things right. Slowly, her heart softened and she forgave him. Jubreel, too, realized how much he cared for Layla, and how much he had hurt her. He worked hard to regain her trust and prove that he was worthy of her love. As the years passed, Layla and Jubreel grew closer. They ruled the kingdom together, protecting their people and bringing peace to Oyewo. Eventually, their love was rekindled and they decided to marry. Their wedding was a joyous celebration, filled with laughter and happiness. The people of Oyewo cheered for their queen, and her brave warrior king. Layla and Jubreel had 2 children, a boy and a girl, who brought even more joy to their lives. The family ruled Oyewo with kindness and strength, ensuring that the kingdom remained safe and prosperous. Layla's heart, once broken, was now full of love and happiness. She had forgiven Jubreel, and together they had built a life filled with love, trust, and respect. The story of Layla and Jubreel became a legend in Oyewo. It was a tale of love, forgiveness, and the power of second chances. Layla's strength as a queen and Jubreel's bravery as a warrior inspired generations to come. And so the kingdom of Oyewo thrived, ruled by a queen and king who had overcome betrayal and found true happiness together. Their love story was a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always hope for a brighter future. The end. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos.